I was a party favor.
What does that mean?
It was a party favor. I was somebody you could take off the table.
Ally Carter just described what powerful elites allegedly did to children on private islands. And Katt Williams is now saying Whoopi Goldberg knows exactly what happened.
I wasn't his girlfriend. I wasn't his friend.
You were too old for him.
I was not only too old, but it was at a time, where this is just not.
That's Whoopi Goldberg scrambling on national TV after her name surfaced in the Jeffrey Epstein files. But here's what nobody's connecting.
All of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed.
Katt called it years ago, and now he's specifically naming what they did to Ally Carter on Epstein Island. And Whoopi Goldberg is in full-blown panic mode. Y'all remember when Katt Williams was out here loud, telling anybody who would listen that the truth was going to spill? That powerful folks in Hollywood were going to get exposed? That 2024 was the year everything would come crashing down?
You know what the number one job of somebody that sold their soul in Hollywood is?
What?
Is to act like it didn't happen.
Back then, people laughed it off, said Katt was bitter, said he was chasing clout, said he was just making wild predictions for attention. But now it's all lining up a little too perfectly. First, it was Diddy. For years, he moved untouchable, throwing those over-the-top parties, flexing power, silencing anyone who dared speak out. Then the lawsuits stacked up, the feds stepped in, and the same industry that protected him for decades acted like they never knew him.
I never thought that we would see the day where Diddy would get arrested, and I told you guys in that Maria Z interview in 2021 that no one tells on Diddy.
But he did get arrested, convicted, sentenced, and right when folks thought that was the peak of the exposures, here come the Epstein files. The Department of Justice finally cracked the vault open back in January 2025. Millions of pages dumped, hundreds of thousands of images, videos, emails, flight logs, enough paperwork to make entire empires nervous.
Today we are producing more than 3 million pages, including more than 2,000 videos and 180,000 images.
But here's the part nobody can ignore. Even with all that dropped, a lot of names were still blacked out. Heavy redactions, big chunks missing, selective transparency, and that's where Ally Carter stepped into the conversation and made it uncomfortable all over again. Now, if you don't know who Ally Carter is, let me catch you up real quick, because her story is the reason Whoopi Goldberg is scrambling right now. Ally Carter is a survivor. She's been publicly sharing her story for years, claiming she was trafficked as a child through the foster care system, and not just to random predators. According to Ally, she was delivered to some of the most powerful people in the world.
My name is Allison Leilani Ray Carter, and I give you full consent to unredact my name in any trafficking ledger that you find.
She didn't stutter. She didn't hide. She gave the Department of Justice full permission to expose her name if it appears in those files. Why? Because she's tired of the lies. She's tired of powerful people being protected while survivors like her get dismissed, silenced, or worse.
Child Protective Services is your supplier. Is anybody going to talk about that? The immigrants that are coming across the border, that all those kids that they were just scooping up out of boats and out of the water, they're now coming in and they're throwing them right into the system.
Think about that for a second. Ally is saying that the very system designed to protect children was actually feeding them into networks. She's not talking about back alleys and shady motels. She's talking about foster care placements that turned into pipelines. Pipelines feeding children to elites under the guise of opportunity, influence, or mentorship. And according to Ally, it didn't stop at emotional trauma. She's described being used at parties, literally placed on tables, like party favors for grown men to take.
So you're telling me at the freak-off parties, they put children on the table instead of gift bags, and then people can do what?
Take you off the table.
That is not a metaphor. That is Ally Carter describing what she says happened to her and other children. And she wasn't just talking about random wealthy people. She's been very specific about where this allegedly happened. Diddy's island. And here's where it gets even darker. Diddy and Epstein weren't just moving in the same circles. They were neighbors. Literally properties on the same island. Same access to private jets. Same insulated environments where normal rules didn't apply.
He's in cahoots with Epstein. They were friends.
Really?
Yeah, they were all in cahoots as well.
So the streets are now asking the obvious question. If Ally Carter was allegedly present on Diddy's island, and Diddy and Epstein were neighbors and cohorts, could Ally have also been present on Epstein's island? Especially when images from the Epstein files show young girls, heavily redacted, standing next to powerful men, faces blurred, names hidden. But the implication loud enough to make stomachs turn. And that's when Whoopi Goldberg's name came crashing into the conversation. A few weeks ago, more names from the Epstein files started leaking. And wouldn't you know it, Whoopi Goldberg's name popped up. Now, here's where it gets messy. Because not too long before this happened, Whoopi and the other hosts on The View were on their high horses demanding that the government release everything.
If there's nothing to hide, release it all. They absolutely have to show us what they're all.
The confidence, the audacity. But funny how things change when your name is the one in the documents, right? Because the second Whoopi's name surfaced, suddenly the energy shifted. Suddenly she wasn't demanding transparency anymore. Suddenly she was doing damage control.
Fake list. Yeah. And I'm on it. I don't know. They said I was on an island.
Pause. Did y'all catch that stutter? The way she couldn't even get her words out straight? That right there is what panic looks like, and fans noticed immediately. So people started digging. And what did they find? Her name was indeed in the files. Not on some fake satirical list, in the actual documents. According to the paperwork, Whoopi's team had requested to use Epstein's private plane back in 2013 to fly from the US to Monaco. Now her defenders tried to spin it, saying the trip never actually happened, that the plans fell through. But here's what didn't sit right with people. Why Epstein's plane in the first place? This is Hollywood. There is no shortage of private jets. Celebrities charter flights every single day. So why, out of all the options available, was Jeffrey Epstein's plane even on the table? And let's not forget, this was 2013. Epstein had already been charged back in 2006 with disturbing allegations involving minors. Everybody in Hollywood knew who he was. They knew what he was about, but apparently that didn't matter. And when Whoopi went back on The View to defend herself again,
Wasn't his girlfriend. I wasn't his
You were
friend.
too old for him.
I was not only too old, but it was at a time, where this is just not.
ma'am, nobody called you his girlfriend. Why are you denying something nobody accused you of? That kind of denial makes people ask more questions, not fewer. And clearly the network agreed, because shortly after this mess, Whoopi got suspended from The View. But here's where the story takes a turn that nobody saw coming. Because instead of laying low, instead of waiting for things to blow over, Whoopi allegedly started buying insurance. According to sources, she allegedly purchased one of the Diddy tapes that's been circulating underground.
But one particular person contacted me to shop a particular video. Mr. Combs was in the tape, and this other person is, I would venture to say, more high profile than Mr. Combs.
More high profile than Diddy. Let that sink in. And word on the street is, Whoopi allegedly bought that tape. Not to release it, but to hold as collateral, protection, insurance, in case she ever needed leverage. But here's what's really shaking the internet right now. Katt Williams is allegedly saying he knows what happened to Ally Carter on Epstein Island. And he's suggesting Whoopi Goldberg knows too. Now, Katt hasn't done a full interview laying it all out yet, but people close to him say he's been talking, privately, carefully, dropping breadcrumbs. And what he's allegedly saying is this: Ally Carter's story about being trafficked on private islands isn't just true, it's worse than what she's publicly shared. And some of the people who were allegedly present or who allegedly knew what was happening are now scrambling to cover their tracks. And that's what has Whoopi spiraling. Because if Katt starts naming names, if he starts connecting dots between the Epstein operation and the Diddy operation, if he starts publicly backing Ally Carter's claims, the whole house of cards could collapse. Think about it. Ally Carter has been vocal about being on Diddy's island. She's described parties. She's described being used as a party favor. She's described other children being there too, frozen, quiet, watching adults laugh, drink, and treat abuse like entertainment.
Information of when a child was sold, where, what outfit they had on, what time, where they came from, if they came from Child Protective Services custody.
And now imagine if Katt Williams, who has been right about everything else, confirms that Whoopi's name isn't just in the files because of a plane request. Imagine if he's saying she was actually there, or that she knew, or that she saw something and stayed silent. That would explain the panic. That would explain why she can't keep her story straight. That would explain why she's allegedly buying tapes for leverage. Because if the truth comes out, if Ally Carter's story gets corroborated by someone like Katt Williams, Whoopi isn't just facing career consequences. She's facing criminal exposure, and it's not just Whoopi. Remember, the Epstein files that dropped had heavy redactions. Names blacked out, faces blurred, which means there are still people being protected. And according to Katt, the names being protected matter more than the ones being exposed. A decoy. Think about that. What if the files that got released were just the tip of the iceberg? What if certain names were strategically exposed to satisfy public pressure while the real power players stayed hidden? What if Ally Carter's name is in those ledgers, exactly like she said? And so are names like Whoopi Goldberg, but they're redacted. And that brings us to the bigger question. What exactly did they do to Ally Carter on Epstein Island? Because she's been brave enough to come forward. She's given consent to have her name unredacted. She's described the trafficking pipeline. She's described being used at parties. But what she hasn't fully described yet is who was there, who participated, who watched, who knew. And if Katt Williams is now stepping forward to fill in those blanks, if he's saying he knows what happened and who was involved, that changes everything. Because Ally Carter isn't some random person making wild accusations. Her story has been consistent for years. She's named the system. She's named the locations. She's described the logistics in detail that only someone who lived through it would know.
I'm begging you to do a little bit of better of a job protecting predators. Majority of the names that you'll find in my Child Protective Services file will also probably show up in the trafficking ledgers.
She's not guessing. She's not speculating. She's telling you to check the receipts. And now with Katt Williams allegedly backing her story, with Whoopi Goldberg in full panic mode, with the Epstein and Diddy connections becoming impossible to ignore, people are finally starting to listen. But here's what makes this even more chilling. Remember how certain celebrities' careers mysteriously ended after they crossed powerful people? Remember Carrie Hilson. She was one of the hottest artists in R&B. Then she made one comment that people interpreted as shade toward Beyonce, and her career vanished overnight.
How you guys ended Carrie Hilson's career because she said something about you. That's how hateful you guys are. How you step on anybody.
And that bodyguard who spoke out, he passed away under mysterious circumstances shortly after. Now, connect that pattern to what's happening with Ally Carter. She's been speaking out for years. She's been calling out powerful people. She's been naming systems. And yet, somehow, she's still here, still talking, still fighting. But how long before they try to silence her the way they've silenced others? And is that why Katt Williams is allegedly speaking up now? Because he knows time is running out? Because he knows the machine is already working to discredit her, to bury her story, to make her disappear? And let's bring it back to Whoopi for a second, because her reaction to all of this has been telling. She didn't just deny being Epstein's friend, she over-explained. She stuttered. She brought up things nobody accused her of. That's not the behavior of someone with a clear conscience. That's the behavior of someone who's terrified. The whole truth is about to come out.
You used to have facts before you said stuff.
But Trump is on the list 38,000 times.
Well, I can't speak to him, but I'm speaking about me because I'm getting dragged.
She tried to deflect to Trump, classic move. When you're caught, point at someone else. But people aren't falling for it anymore because the facts are the facts. Her name is in the files. She requested Epstein's plane. She can't explain why. And now Katt Williams is allegedly saying she knows what happened to Ally Carter. So here's what we're left with. A brave survivor who's been telling her story for years. A comedian who predicted all of this and is now allegedly confirming the darkest parts. A Hollywood icon in full panic mode trying to control the narrative, and millions of documents that were released with strategic redactions to protect the people who matter most. The question isn't whether something happened to Ally Carter. She's been clear about that. The question is, who was involved, who knew, who participated, and who's been covering it up?
We're doing a very good job protecting predators, and if you guys can please, I am begging you to do a little bit of better of a job.
Ally Carter gave permission for the truth to come out. Katt Williams predicted that 2024 would be the year of exposure, and Whoopi Goldberg is scrambling because she knows the walls are closing in. So drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Whoopi knows what happened to Ally Carter? Do you think Katt Williams is about to blow this whole thing wide open? And most importantly, do you believe Ally Carter's story? Because if even half of what she's saying is true, this isn't just about Hollywood scandals or celebrity gossip. This is about a systemic network of and cover-ups that reaches the highest levels of power. And it's about time somebody held them accountable. Click on the next video. This rabbit hole goes even deeper.